Buen dia, buen dia. Walking past the wooden house. There's a random wooden house in this neighborhood. Right there. Must have been built ages ago. And you got these other nice houses. It's kind of kooky. So there's some nice places for sale on this street. Ooh, that could be an interesting one. Could be an interesting one to buy that one. So I'm gonna walk and talk, and it's another day, it's another video. And again, it's another chance to go out into the street and bellow into my phone to, you know, just flick away those imaginary, you know, boundaries of decorum, etc., etc., and just walk through the streets essentially bellowing into my phone. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. That's what I've been doing every day for essentially the last good 3 or 4 months. Before I was doing very considered videos, you know, being a good boy. Now I'm not really going down that route. This is much more of a self-development route, and it's important to do it at volume. You've got to do it at volume to get the best out of it, because you feel a bit of an unease in your body. It's like you feel that, and so it's nice just to go, fuck it, I'm going to carry on anyway. It's just resistance training, basically. It's resistance training for the mind. And this is something I've been thinking about recently. Is there any upper limit on how jacked your mind can get? I'm not talking intellectually, I'm talking, that's a question in itself, but I'm actually talking in terms of personal confidence, personal capacity, social confidence, boldness, all of these things, right? Is there an upper limit to that? That's a very interesting question. It's a very interesting question to the mind you can build, because we're all a product of that mind. Everything we do is a product of our mind. Literally, there's nothing in your life that isn't a product of your own mind. It's a hard one to level with at times. Even relationships, it's the way your mind interfaces with other people, right? But the good thing about that is if you just keep developing it, there's no upper limit. Like, there really isn't. Let's say with the gym, for example, there's an upper limit. I'm not going to bench press 500 kilos. That's actually not going to happen. But with the human mind, we don't know. We don't have a fucking clue. Even if there is a limit, we're miles away from it. We've got no clue what it actually is. The equivalent at the moment is like most people are doing, like, you know, what are they doing to push their minds socially, emotionally? Basically nothing. They're basically like people, you know, gym dodgers, you know. They do anything not to go to the gym, essentially. And that's kind of the situation as it stands for the majority of the population. Do anything to stay within the lines, and don't draw too much attention to yourself. Don't stand out too much. Don't be too much of a strong, tall tree. You might get chopped. Nah. Fuck it, I'll get chopped. So, yeah. I think that's a really good point. There's actually no limit on how jacked your mind can get, how jacked you can become emotionally, how jacked you can become socially. There's no limit on that, dude. It's a crazy thought. And then, yeah, that starts to shape everything in your life, you know. I notice it in my own dating and relationships and stuff. Like the girl that I'm dating now, It's funny because she can predict my behavior and response often quite well. Not always, but often quite well. But that's because I'm expressing myself so much more, let's say, than I would have perhaps 10 years ago or 15 years ago. When I was like really young, like 15, 16, I fully expressed myself. Something happened between the ages of 18 and 23, which jammed that process completely. And you start playing it a bit political, you know? But it's quite interesting because you can actually predict a lot of times like how I'm gonna respond and stuff like that. Not always, but like, yeah. I suppose it does breed a level of trust, and it's also like she knows if there's dirty work to be done, she doesn't have to do it. I'll be the person who will do it. She can do the nice work. Look at this, we've got the Merengue Club here. I've actually not been in here. Some of these clubs, to be fair, they're almost like a bit of a... They're almost a little bit of a... I don't know what was up with that lady there. Some of these clubs are almost a little bit of a pastiche, you know, of what a Latin club should be, which is a little bit unfortunate. And then some of them are a bit more authentic. The most authentic shit though is just the Colmado, the fucking supermarket stroke club. That's the most authentic thing. That's what it is, to be honest. Wow. This actually reminds me of Cuba. That smell right there reminded me of Cuba. You know what that smell was? Festering dog shit. There is nothing like the streets of Havana for the absolute stench of festering dog shit in 35-degree heat. Humidity. It cooks that shit up. Sorry to become revolting. One of my great memories of Havana. Yeah. All aspiring commies should go to Havana. You'll probably become you will become a libertarian. The place I'm at now, they use their brains, people in power. You know, should we maybe work with the Americans and, you know, not store nuclear weapons on the island? You know, given that they're the biggest power in the world and they're right next to us. Maybe let's do that, you know. So I'm gonna sign off here. I'm just getting to my cafe here. I've noticed since I've had a bit more time off work, I feel a lot more free. I'm not consuming apps. I'm still drinking coffee, but I'm not consuming heinous amounts of coffee, which I do realize like part of that consumption is just when I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I look at what I've got to do today and I'm like, fuck me, this is going to be a lot of mental focus, and unfortunately a lot of boredom. That's the issue, I think. That's why I need the coffee. But you know, hey, pays for me to live wherever the fuck I want. So for the moment, I can handle it. And I'm also taking steps as well to focus, to kind of like begin to cut out the areas of my work which are actually like painfully boring. So yeah, I'm gonna go and make my order. Have a good day.